Okay, before we launch into lesson 3, let's do a quick review of what we've done so far. I think this is the last time that you'll be seeing my horrible handwriting like this. I've just downloaded Smartboard Notebook, so I think I'm going to create the next few lessons on Smartboard Notebook and then have a video of me going through it there. It might be easier and maybe a little bit more professional looking than this. Anyway, let's get to some review. If tickets to the fair cost $3, the fair would sell 3 F tickets. Okay, I know that might sound confusing, but basically, if one ticket is $3, we don't know how many tickets there are. That's the variable. F is the number of fair tickets sold. So 3F. So if they sold one ticket, that would make 1 times 3 would be 3. If they sold 5 tickets, it would be 3. F would be worth 5. 3 times 5 is 15. If they sold 10 tickets, 3 times F, 3 times 10 would be 30. Next one. If John walks laps of the path that is 100 meters long, it would be written as 100L. So every lap is 100. We don't know how many laps he's done. If he walks 3 laps and an extra 20 meters, it would be 3 times my 100 to give me 300 plus my 20. Okay. If the question asks, for example, the track is 100 meters long, but he walks an extra 20 meters to get back to his car. So it would be 100L plus 20. Because if he walked 1 lap, it would be 100 plus the 20, because he still needs to get back to his car. If he did 10 laps, it would be 1,000 plus the 20. That's how we have to go about that. Okay, let's take a little look at some inspection quickly. Okay, so on the left, 2y take away 1 is 11. Okay, the first thing I need to do is get rid of the subtract 1. How do I get rid of subtract 1? Well, I need to add 1 to each side, because if I add 1 to the left, I have to add 1 to the right. Okay, so my take away 1 disappears because I've added 1. But I had to add 1 on the right hand side to balance it. So now I'm left with 2y is equal to 12. I don't want 2 times y. I want y by itself. So 2 times y, to get that down to 1y, I just divide it by 2. Okay, if I divide the left by 2, I divide the right by 2. So y is equal to 6. Okay, a slightly more difficult question. We got decimals and we got some mistakes, so I had to correct it. 33.2 is equal to 1.2b plus 5. Okay, don't be confused with the 33.2 is equal to math, because it doesn't matter where that equal sign is, it just tells you that there's balance. Okay, I know it's not the normal way to write it, but it is what we do. Okay, first thing we do, we subtract 5 from each side. I need to get rid of my adding 5 on the right, and the only way to do that, I subtract 5 there. I would have to subtract 5 from the left. So I'm left with 28.2 is equal to 1.2b. I don't want 1.2b, I want b all by itself. I want one of them. So how do I get from 1.2b down to 1? Well, I divide the left and the right by 1.2. And I'm left with 23.5 is equal to b. Don't know if you can hear, but there is Shaun the Sheep playing in the background. Okay, today's lesson, it's more word problems. There's not that many concepts with algebra. Okay, so we're kind of moving kind of quickly through it, but it shouldn't take too long. So the work I assign you today will be a kind of a review of some other concepts, but there's going to be a focus on some word problems. So here's a good one. Rowan wants to buy a guitar for $425 and pay for it by cutting grass. He borrows a lawnmower, so there's no charge, and he charges $15 per cut. He will have to spend $100 on gas. So, question A, write an algebraic expression for Rowan's earnings. And B, write and solve the equation for how many lawns he needs to mow to buy the guitar. Okay, so the first one, our variable, we don't know how many things he's going to cut, but it's $15 per cut. So 15C makes sense, doesn't it? The fact he has to spend $100 on gas, you might be tempted to think you're adding 100, but if you think about his earnings, he has to pay that. If he doesn't cut any grass, he's out $100. So we subtract that. Okay, so straight away, 15C, take away 100. That's his earnings. So if he cuts one person's grass, our C would be 1, he would get $15, but he's paid $100 and he would lose $85 if he just cuts one grass. Okay, but that's the algebraic expression. Okay, you see on B how it says equation? That means we have an equal sign and we have some other math. So what is it he's trying? He's trying to buy the guitar, isn't he? Okay, so basically we plug that information after our algebraic expression and then we can solve it. So 15C, take away 100 is equal to 425. That's his goal. So how many lawns does he need to cut? The first thing I need to do, I need to get rid of my subtract 100. Okay, so if I subtract 100 from each side, if I add 100 to each side, I'm left with 15C is equal to $525. To get that guitar, he needs to cut grass that equals to 525, considering he spent $100 on gas. So then we have to figure out, if it's $15 for one cut, how many cuts does he need? So we divide left and right by 15. It will take 35 people's grass cuttings to get there. Okay, so I know I didn't ask you to pause today, but it's kind of, it's review of the concepts. It's just kind of building on top. So there's nothing new that I want to pause and ask you to do. But you'll find a page that attached that will have some word problems like this one. If you get stuck, come back to this example and take a look. They're not all the same, but the concepts are the same. And just try your best with all of them. And we're pretty much done this unit. We do have to do graphing, but graphing is not going to be possible at the moment. So I might show you on Smartboard Notebook. And if I show you, it's just like it's in your memory bank, even though you haven't had a chance to do it yourself. Anyway, good luck with your math today.